Well, it's not, I mean, the election day itself, I mean, that's part of the issue, but it's the months leading up to it usually. And it's the company is within their rights to hold captive audience meetings any time of the day they want. So they can have workers sit there all day and talk to them about how bad the union is. But the union can only talk to workers on, on break time or at their homes. I mean, that was one thing about this agreement that the union reached with Smithfield, is it really did allow equal time for both sides to tell their points of view. I mean, that's the other thing when folks are like, well, this is just, a democratic election like we have to elect our officials. But think about what if you had two candidates running for president and one of them could advertise on every channel, every radio station, put their ads in all the newspapers, but the other candidate can only hand out flyers on the street corner. Is that fair? I mean, that's the way it is in a traditional union election. So the Employee Free Choice Act would allow workers, rather than the bosses, to decide how they do their election. They could go this traditional National Labor Relations Board election process, or they could do majority sign-up, or what some other folks refer to as card check. And in that process, you get workers to sign a card saying whether they want to join the union, and if you get 50% plus one to sign cards and those signatures are verified, then the company agrees to recognize the union. So you don't go through the traditional National Labor Relations Board election process. That's one component of this law.
In reality, probably the union would get considerably more than
Oh yeah. No union is going to go in with just 50% plus one. And that's true even now. I mean, you only need like 30% to petition for a union.
Explain why that is.
Well, it is because there's always people going to change their mind, and particularly if you're leading up to this National Labor Relations Board election process. Why would you want to petition if you only got 30% when you still need 50% to win, and there's going to be this campaign of intimidation? So you want to make sure you're in a strong position before you go through this process. So that's one component of the Employee Free Choice Act, would be allowing workers to decide on the election process. The second part would be real penalties to deter companies from breaking the law. I mean, right now it's just a slap on the wrist, back pay after how many years to a worker you illegally fired. So real meaningful penalties that would make a company think twice about violating workers' rights. And then the third component would be a process to make sure that once folks get their union, that they can get a first contract in a timely manner, because that's another problem that workers face, is they get their union and then sometimes within a year they still don't have a contract because of company delay tactics. So this law would allow for a process of mediation when the company and the union can't agree on a contract within a certain amount of time. That legislation, it would pass today if we didn't have the rules in the Senate that you have to have the 60 votes for cloture and to end debate. We are continuing to fight for this law. It is a high priority for the labor movement and for workers generally, because it's very important that we all have a free, democratic process to decide whether or not we want to join a union.